Okay, here we go. Don't know if anybody can hear me, but we're giving this a try. Okay, so we got the Jedi Killer Gen 2 here. We have two versions. It's going to come default in the box like this. It will require some assembly, but when it's together, it will be a non-red wire version. So the red wire will come with the kit, though, and it's pretty easy to add the wires to it. So get up close, you can see the coloration on this camera is a little bit dark and dull, but the brass is very brassy. The copper up here is starting to tarnish, so it's looking nice and starting to weather itself up a bit. Very similar to the original Jedi Killer. You've got the spine in the back, which is going to be glued down. You have your lower core in the back, which you can come out, pull open the end cap. There's another little plate inside of here that comes out. Once that's out, then you're able to remove the bottom cage and then untwist this bottom section. So right now we missed the threads, so those will be added into production. They're not here now, but not a big deal. But as you can see, this bottom core is now two parts. So you have your red ring and then your detail part on top. This allows you to do a little more customization. Maybe you want to swap this out for something else. Whatever you want to do, we're providing a little bit of a functionality for you guys to do that. So that goes back on. Well, normally, this attaches here. That's going to go up. That's going to be, this whole thing will thread in. This bottom piece will thread in like this. And then you can also position it exactly like you like. Like if you have some of these holes drilled out for some LEDs, then you can drill those out, put that on, your cage slips right back on, and then your lower retainer is going to, I'm going to have to hold this steady here a moment. Okay. And then your end cap goes back on. Okay. So we also have, like before, we have our magnetic system. The magnets, thanks to Watto's Junkyard, their little ingenious little system is to have raised magnets on one side and lower magnets on the other. That does, it provides the protection from shearing. The magnets won't shear off. You have to pull them straight off. So there's a little bit of you won't worry about pushing it and losing it. You have to actually pull it off. Now, your button activation is here. We have a system built in where there's this piece here is being held down by this part up top. And then you can easily just unscrew this by coming in and pulling these screws out. And this big greebly comes up, and you can pull off the little switch thing. The little switch housing is underneath, and these have a little bit of a spring to them in order to be able to activate your button 1 and button 2. Let's see up into the core again. We have a little tiny greebly here. You may recognize some of the blue wire. This little greebly here was also in the Kylo. We tried to copy over a lot of our some of the Kylo details into this to make this more of a Kylo saber, since that's what it originally started as. But when you go into the wired version, you'll see that this little greebly will come out, and that's where the wire will go. As with the Gen 1, you have these two greeblies are held on with magnets. Once they're on, you really don't need to pull them off ever. They're just details. We just didn't want to have any screws that were visible, so we connect them with magnets. If you'd like, you can also glue these down. They don't need to stay attached, or they don't need to be able to be removed. I'll put it that way. The whole saber can disassemble without these coming apart. So that's up to you. If you don't like the magnetic system, you're welcome to glue these down solid so they don't go anywhere. The saber disconnects in two positions by default. So we have our two parts, and then we have now also our second neck. However, it is suggested that you are going to probably seal this one down because it's the same. It's almost the same inner diameter in the inside. It gets a little bit smaller, but if you want to maintain your clocking position, you're going to have to ensure that that is in the right spot and doesn't move. Because see, now I've got mine just a little bit off. Let me tighten this up. There we go. Now we're back. So internal room is huge. So let's pull this off again now that I got my position again. Internal install space is pretty big. I mean, you basically have from here to here complete. There is a small ridge inside right here that you'll have to account for when you design. And then if you see in here, we also have more space up in here. So we have, you'll see two studs in there. Those can be used for mounting a chassis. That way you could mount a chassis that comes directly out. You have to see how you want to do it. Chassis should include a little tiny switch piece that sticks out that will activate the buttons you see up in here. You can kind of see see if I can get the colors right. You see those blue reflections. Yep. Okay, so now put this back together. Take a look at the chamber again. You got the front chamber, you got the damage, you got some of the small details that we added in here. You got a retention screw that is hidden up in this little corner here to keep your blade plug in. Similar blade plug as the Kylo, the Ben Solo, and the Jedi Killer Gen2. On the back, we added some additional battle damage that comes into the outer shroud and also the inner, so you can see the chamber underneath. And now one of the changes in this Gen 1 to Gen 2 swap is these details here are all metal, and they have a fixed location they go into. So before it was aluminum and it was painted to do the colors. These are actually brass and aluminum mixed to give some nice additional details there. It can be weathered up or damaged, taken off, however you like. The sky's the limit here. So there is the non-red wire version. Now this one is the second prototype, exact same, except for I have taken and I have added the red wire to it. So what you do is you basically need to mark your locations. You're going to get 4 cable holders. You'll see they look like this. Oh, hard to see. But they hold the cable through. They have a small round 3mm peg. It's actually, when you drill it out, you should drill it to about 2.8, but 3 is okay. I like to do a little bit smaller so that it fits in there really tight. So when you glue it down, it'll stay nice and tight. So you're basically going to find a spot on the red thing, drill a hole in there so the wire can go into it. And then you're going to pick 4 spots along the body. You see, I just picked these spots, 2 on the lower half, 1 in the middle, 1 in the upper chamber. The wire goes through them, and then you'll see then the wire, we pull out this little greebly, and then your wire plugged into there. Now, you don't have to glue this in. This can just be set in there. And that way, if you want to separate the saber, all you need to do is pull this out, and then you can pull your wire back out of this first one, and then your top and bottom can come apart. And that's it. I mean, that's the early look at the Gen 2 Jedi Killer. I'm really happy how this prototype came out. Has a good heft to it. The metal chamber gives some additional weight and solid feel to it. So when pre-orders are open right now on the website, phoenixprops.net, go ahead and check it out. There are not many spots left. Most of them are already pre-ordered. So if you've been waiting for this video or the early looks to proceed, now is your call to action to make this happen. That's all I got to say. We'll take some pictures and put these up on the website. We're going to have some official high quality photographer photos coming of these products pretty soon. And also these sabers are going to be shipped to Solo Sabers, Jeremy at Solo Sabers. He is going to be doing an installation and a weathering job on them. So if you have picked weathering on the website, that weathering will be done by Solo Sabers. And if you want to get an install done, go ahead and reach out to Jeremy at Solo Sabers. He is my preferred installer for this saber because he is getting both of these. He's going to develop a chassis, and he will be doing installs on these for us to showcase to you. So I'll go ahead and put the links to Solo Sabers as well as Phoenix Prop in the description, and you can go check out the pre-order and go check out Solo Sabers for his install. So that's all I got to say. So I'm out. See ya.